What's going on, y'all? Fix these brows. It's about that time, too. The other day was my hair, and now it's the eyebrows. So, what's going on, Sion? Long time, my friend. I hope you're well. All right, let's get it. Oh, pause for poor connection. Okay, we're back on. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started in here. You just come right on time. Please wash the neck. We still have a retreat we need to be a part of in January.
Watch the neck.
Looks a little too loose over there.
It's true. It's like what old people say. Watch the neck. Watch the neck. You need to go to that event this weekend. Watch the neck.
Watch them bones.
Tia, where you at? Get up in here, Tia.
What's going on, y'all? We'll let some people come through.
Hey now.
Let me go ahead and pin this title.
Woo!
What did you just do?
You know, things are getting wild in here tonight.
Wow. Welcome, everybody. So lovely to have you here. Take a moment, get settled. We're about to just go off. It's kind of like slash rant, but slash not
go off
rant.
on a little tangent here.
You know, it's about to go down.
Oh, there she is. I see Tia join.
Excuse me.
She's fashionably late over here. Fashionably late.
Fashionably late. Wait, did I press the button? Okay.
Okay. Oh, there she is.
Just screaming to the phone. I'm like, Wait, what was that? Hey, Tia.
Y'all be looking so cute for these lives.
What? Lily's the only one that does it all.
No, you know what? I compensate. I haven't washed my hair in a long time, so I compensate with this area, so you don't see this area. You know, just two things going on at one time. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I'm so excited to talk about this. I'm so excited.
I'm excited. Oh my god, you're excited. I'm excited. Is everybody here excited? Oh my god.
All right.
So come on,
welcome
Francis,
everybody.
Welcome
everybody. Thank you for being here. We're looking forward to having this conversation with the homies, the peoples, Tiara and Lily. And the topic for tonight is the biggest ROI, return on investment, healing journey truth. So this whole conversation is part rant, part experience, because sometimes you can rant but not have experience, right? So we're just here to sort of discuss what it means to kind of invest on this healing journey, because it's not easy, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of trade-offs. So we're just going to have a casual conversation, even about our individual journeys, kind of like what we went through to do this sort of investment and be where we're at today. So who would like to begin?
Yeah, so Tia, I have a question for you while you're over there, like huddled on your little corner over there. Oh, she's ready for some questions. Yeah, get your little pillow. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt.
And we need popcorn?
You're so cozy compared to us.
I guess that's what we're. All right, give me the question.
Yeah, so I feel like all three of us have had like a moment in our life where we decided to take more of a chance in ourselves and a bigger investment, whether it's in our health or our mental wellness. And I kind of want to hear more about like the first time you felt like you took more of a risk or an investment in yourself, even when it was maybe a little bit outside your comfort zone. Because I know you've been on this healing and wellness journey for a while, but when you take that jump to really kind of truly invest, I'm curious to know like one story that comes to your mind when it comes to like making a big investment, whether it's health-wise, whether it's mental health-wise, whatever it is. What was like the opening to that door?
Being tired of my own bullshit, to be completely transparent. You ever be tired of yourself? You feel like they're all just tired of you.
Yeah.
So as I'm talking, I'm thinking of a specific moment.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people can relate to just like, damn, like self, like, come on, get it together. Like, are you still here? You know, like, just, are you really still in this position? You were here 10 years ago. Like, where is the progression? Be it just, I'm done with same old, same old. I am not satisfied with anything. I remember there was a point where I wasn't happy with anything and like nothing sparked. That's why I'm so excited about plant medicine. That's why I'm so like, if y'all like if we talk about it, I'm just so excited because nothing for years, for way too long, nothing brought me joy. Nothing gave me excitement. It was just I was just kind of like coasting.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what I needed, but I was willing to try things that resonated with my integrity, right? So that's why I'm such an advocate for plant medicine, because I was just so sick of my own bullshit, the data, the same old thing, everybody around me, it's the same vibes, the same thing. And once I was reintroduced to plant medicine, it was just like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, something to be excited about. Oh, this is exciting. This is fun. You know, it's deep. But the thing is, once you've been in your shit for so long, you're kind of like, give me the strongest thing you got. Give me everything. Give me everything. Give me everything.
So
I
true.
want it.
So true.
I'll take two of them. And that is that. Yeah, sick and tired, being sick and tired. And that is why I go so hard for it, because I see the transformation. Like, I'm just happier now. You know, I'm just like that. I feel fulfillment. You know what I mean? So yeah.
You know, you reminded me something is gonna be like real cheesy, but I remember a long time ago, Tony Robbins said, people don't change when they're uncomfortable, they change when they're disgusted. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, whoa, because he gave this whole story about like he just same thing. Like he was gonna get evicted from his place. He was like 60 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
He was eating like dinner off of his bathtub. Like that was like where his place setting was. Like it got that bad. And I remember him saying, like in that moment, he was so disgusted just looking around his life that he had no choice. And from that day on, like everything started changing, just step by step by step. So you reminded me of that, is that I think we can handle our patterns for that long because they're uncomfortable, but until we get to a place that we're like people saying in the chat, like I'm sick and tired. And I don't mean being disgusted with yourself in a very shameful way.
Yeah.
I just mean more of like, I can't stomach this anymore. I really, truly can't stomach this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see people that are like on a weight loss journey, for instance, that they don't just say, I'm really tired of this. Like, I need to lose weight. No, they literally clean out everything from their cupboards. Like everything is gone, right? They throw it in the trash can, right? And then next step, and the next step, right? So you kind of made me think of that. I was going to go in a different direction, but you totally made me have that memory. So I don't know if you want to add to that, Francis.
Yeah, no, as you're saying, taking things off the cupboard, when I decided to, because I used to be like 230 pounds, and when I decided to lose weight, it was like a light switch. Like I just looked at myself and I was just like, damn. Like I finally saw myself for the first time, right? And the next day I went into the cupboard and I just went through stuff I just bought, like tons of new food that I bought, I threw in the trash because I just was ready. And I remember the time when, me and you met, Lily, when in 2016, and I was in such a dark, dark place. And like you, Tia, I was so apathetic. So apathetic. Nothing brought me up, nothing brought me down.
Mm-hmm.
I just got tired of like not feeling anything. And when things begin to bleed, so it's not just affecting you, and it starts to bleed into everything and everyone around you, you begin to realize like, wow, this can't continue, right? And so I think it's through that desperation of relief that really activates something within somebody, and then everything else starts showing itself to you.
I think that's wild too, Tia. I think we told you this before, but Francis and I met at a retreat. So in a sense, we had like this same mentor, and then we like had another same mentor. So I think it's kind of wild how that happened. But like 10 years ago, I went to the same retreat that she did. And I had to ask myself, do I continue to blame this person that I broke up with, or do I face myself, right? And my retreat was like the first step to that. And I had never experienced community like that. I had never experienced like inner child work like that. We did some wild, weird shit. I mean, I know we do wild, weird shit at our retreat, but this was like different wild, weird shit. And then I remember Frances coming like 4 or 5 years later. Her eyes were like this the whole time. Her eyes were like watching people.
I was
You know
so
how she like observes
uncomfortable, man.
stuff? You know how she like observes things before she says anything? She's looking to her right. She's looking to her left. She's like, oh, okay, this is
I was like, this is what
anger
we're doing?
expression. This is people expressing anger. Okay, all right, cool.
Whoa, we're like touching each other, giving each other hugs. Get out of here with that. I grew up in
We're scaring
Boston.
each other. All
Yeah,
right.
300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it activated something in everybody that was there, right? It was like sometimes we just need a little nudge. So it's not that the retreat fixes your life, it's just the nudge. And you knew you were sick of something, so you took action. You knew that there was one teacher on your path that knew just a little bit more than you. That's all it is, just a little bit more. And then it led you to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. So now when I think back to my first mentor led me to the next teacher, to the next teacher, to the next teacher. So that's kind of like the mindset, the growth mindset versus like the fear-based mindset.
Yeah. And I think it also speaks to the fact that like this is a marathon, not a sprint. So if you're looking to like be completely healed, whatever that means to you, within just a couple of months, know that one layer is another layer and another layer. So as you continue on the healing process, it's a beautiful unfolding that just continues.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've already levitated, so you guys can
I know.
There we go.
I did see you one time when I was, no, I'm kidding. So we did talk a little bit about the fear mindset, and you know, when it comes to sort of taking that leap and making that investment, how would you like, and either of you can answer this, but like, how would you advise shifting, reframing that narrative? Like,
Well, you know, Tia, to add to that question too, because I know in your work, when you're working with even just like herbs and different foods and different diet plans and stuff like that, there's resistance, right? And there's like also the fear that comes up of the change. And I'm curious to know how you deal with that as well, because that goes along with the same, the mindset is like the fear of change in anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'll speak specifically for the duck for a second. I think Fran, you saw the post that I made earlier. A lot of people get pushed back to like, well, why if it's a cleanse, it doesn't need to be so aggressive. Like why is it so like why am I purging so much? And I have to think like, oh, people think that this shit changing and leaving not killing, the death of oldness and the start of new and the rebirth, they think that shit is sweet. Like, you really, you think it's sweet. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Sometimes it hurts though, you know, sometimes it's uncomfortable. We are dealing with a lot of addictions, food addictions, you know, phone addictions. We're dealing with addictions on a daily basis. And from my perspective, to let go of those addictions is to let go of something we identified with, something we identify as, right? If we always go to food when we're feeling a type of mood, and now we no longer are able to have that addiction because it gave us high blood pressure, it gave us a mental health condition, there's going to be that resistance. And that resistance is the pain that I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So and fear can also be a pain that I'm referring to, you know? Yep. Going back to what I originally said, once you get fed up with yourself or with the habits or with the addictions or with the diagnosis, medical or physical conditions, once you get fed up with all that, it's like, okay, I'm doing it scared, you know, because I know that this is the path that that is for my highest healing, physical or spiritual or, you know, or mental, you know.
You know, it's interesting. You made me think of something where I was a little I was both fed up, but I had a new awareness about healing that I had not had before. And like many of us, we grow in the modern medical complex system, right? Relying on what your local doctor says or your local pharmaceutical. And I remember one day I was having some female issues. I didn't have my period for a year. I'll just be very vulnerable. And I went to a doctor, and the first thing she said to me is, well, you've got to take this pill in order to get better. And I said, no, no, you don't understand. Like, I can't take that. It's done X, Y, and Z to me before. You don't understand. Like, there's got to be other things. So I tried to tell her more of my background, whatever. She didn't want to hear it. She says, take this prescription. It's the only way. And I just felt like my mouth dropped and everything went slow motion in that moment. And because of how aggressive she was with this is the only way, I was like, watch this, you know? And I went on a journey to find another way. And when I met with a naturopath, this lady sat down with me for 90 minutes and said to me, what do you do when you wake up? What do you do when you go to sleep? What are your eating habits like? I never told a doctor so much about my own life, or a therapist about so much my own life, than this lady. And at the end of the session, she said to me, I said, have you seen this before? Do you think like we can work with this? She goes, of course. Do you know that the body wants to help you heal? Like it works with you to heal? And I was like, I'd never heard that before. Yeah. I had never heard that before. Like, you know, here I was in my early 30s, just never had heard like, oh, your body wants to heal. And that in that moment, then I knew I could co-create with it. And then I was like, what are other things I could co-create? What are other lies I've been told that I believed, you know? And I feel like there's always that window for people, right? Like that was my window into like how I could heal, how I could work with nature, right? Because I just saw that wasn't working. I tried over and over. And then this thing came into my life and I was like, wow, I actually have the power now. So.
Yeah, I think that is so, it rings so true to many things, everything that I'm exposed to, but many things in nature. You know, from a nutritionist perspective, we do holistic nutrition. We get to the root of the issue. We don't just band-aid it with, you know, we figure out, okay, it literally could be something as simple as your laundry detergent, but let's figure it out. With plants, they do the same thing in my experience. Getting to the root. Okay, you have PTSD. It's not because of, you know, because you're just crazy and that's just the way you're wired. It's because of what happened to you when you're 4. Let me take you back to there and show you, and let's heal through that. And that's something that I love about plants so much, is that even as I microdose Aya, it's not band-aiding any of my shit. It's helping me and gently digging to the core, you know, of things that are going on. And so that's something I really, really appreciate about just the holistic realm and plants in general.
What was it? There's some of the fears that came up for you, because I feel like you're a unique case, because like, you know, you're already throwing up all day on the duck cleanse, right? I know. You're like, you know, so you're like, bring it to me. But were there, I mean, I think with everybody, there's a little bit of fear, but were there initial fears in like taking that jump? Because, right, you're in one realm, but plant medicine is just a whole other realm if you're not familiar with it. So I'm curious to know what bridged that gap for you from this space to now. Full on shamanism. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't speak that. That's right.
Full on.
I'd never done anything psychedelic. And so, you know, I had no one who had done it as medicine to talk to. So there were a lot of bad trips, you know, talk going on. So there was a fear, you know, I'm sitting down, y'all gave me a cup of tea and I'm like, all right, I'm going to have a okay, well, shit, all right, we in this, you know, but lots of fear, of course, a bad trip. I talk about that because I feel like so many people are fearful of a bad trip. I was sick of my shit enough to not be afraid of the things that I would see. I knew I would see some deep stuff. And you ladies both, your energy exudes many things, including safety. So I knew I was safe the entire time. So that fear just did not like from the moment we spoke on, we met on during the soul session, I was like, okay, I'm no longer fearful of this trip and of the integrity of the people. It's my own stuff. All right, hold on. You know, so there
Yep.
was never any like any fears of my surroundings or if I'm safe. There were things within myself that I'm like, all right, I'm ready to let go of as long as I get back from this shit. So that was a fear.
Siobhan was like, we were like, what was your biggest fear? She's like, that I was gonna die. She was like, that I was gonna die. She just straight up, you know, and I like when people tell me straight up what it is. So you can get it all out in the beginning,
Yeah.
right? Because I forget that that's like part of the work that Francis and I do is just like, let's get it all out. Because nobody says, oh, I'm going for my doctor's appointment, my yearly checkup. I'm so scared. They don't say that, right? But when they come to us, they're like, oh, fuck, I don't trust you. What you gonna do to me? I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
I don't want a bad trip. Like, okay, all right. So we need like 2 separate therapy sessions. We're like soul session, get it all out. You know, which I get to an extent because we've been programmed that way. I get it. And that loss of control can be very, very scary for people. But it's so freeing.
Yeah.
It's so freeing.
On the other side is just, I think about it and get all fuzzy, and I never like. All right, Lily, I'm about to put you on the spot, but like, before the like on the trip before all the medicines, I'm like, she keep hugging me all the animals and stuff. And by the end, I was hugging all the damn animals.
She's so tickled by that.
Yeah, she's like off giggling over there.
Because it was so funny. I'm about to go into a tangent, so I won't do it. But it's that type of connection, and during Aya, is like just showed me the connection, the depths of the connections with plants and the depths of the connections with animals, and so yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no, I feel like you can hear like the way animals talk. You know,
Yeah,
like you're like, oh, okay,
yeah.
now I can hear your language. You know.
Yeah, I'm a damn hippie now too.
Yeah, I'm a damn hippie now talking to the clouds. The clouds are speaking to me. I know they're not speaking to you, but they're speaking to me.
We got a relationship. So I did want to pivot a little bit. So it's like, okay, so, you know, you said you do the microdosing Aya, you did the retreat, and I noticed recently you posted all these certs, so congratulations and everything.
Woo woo.
But these things cost. They ain't
cost
free.
money.
They ain't free. And yeah, not too long ago, I was looking at my expenses for like last year, and I was like, "Damn, girl, what you do? You spend all that money on all this, you know, healing stuff and personal development and all this stuff." And I was like, "Wow, okay, so this stuff can get costly." What are your thoughts about that in regards to paying for some of this stuff to take place, and how do you think people will see it?
Yeah. First of all, I want to say you're very mature for looking at your expenses.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for adulting.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I was talking to my friend the other day about how many courses we bought over the years, how many ebooks, and like it's ridiculous because we don't open them up or we don't utilize them, and it's silly, you know. It's just like we're just addicted to like, all right, I'm gonna get rich off of this, or you know. So and they do cost and everything, and as I kept buying and kept seeing which ones had value, the number one thing that I sought and seek right now when I'm investing into something is who is behind it. It's so important to me. Like I'm gonna go back to integrity. It's what I live by. Like I honor my integrity and other people's, and I really look at the integrity of the people running the show. So with the nutrition certification, I looked at the company and like, you know, and do they align with, you know, what I want to teach and how I want to educate my clients and my followers. And it does get costly sometimes. It do be costing, y'all. But
Well, I guess
But
also
did
I'll
you?
jump in. I'll jump in. What also I think that she's also saying is that we have a choice, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes people filter that into, you know, entertainment. They filter it into distractions. They filter it into, you know, vacations to Disneyland. Ain't nothing wrong with Disneyland, okay? But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, so where is that mindset shift for you where you're like, I've got to do this no matter what. I've got to do X no matter
Yeah.
what is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going back to like enough is enough of my own BS.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for me to prioritize me. You know, it's nothing personal, you know, but it's time for me to prioritize me, and that includes like physically removing yourself. So that's time and money as well, and the investment, you know, in yourself. So, Lily, can you remind me of your question? Sorry, I got distracted.
Just kind of about like where, you know, because when we look at our expenses, like when, you know,
Right.
Frances was bragging about how she adults, you know, and she looks
Right.
at her investments and stuff. She was like over there bragging, like, this is what I do and this is what you don't do, you know?
Yeah.
So I was saying, like, you know, when you do that for yourself, what is like the difference then, you know, from the Tia that says to herself, like, well, I could go over here, but I'm going to commit to this because it's going to
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z, right? Like, I just feel like there's a mindset that thing that has to happen, a shift, or kind of does it just go back to the same thing you said? I'm so sick of the old patterns, so I'm not gonna go back there. Is that what it is?
That's honestly what it is. Once you a small dose of what your highest self looks, feels, smells like, tap into the limitless capacity that it has, you crave more of that healing. You know, you crave more of that healing, and that can start, you know, if people are watching right now, that can literally start with just meditation. It's like, oh, this is a good feeling. This helps me. Oh, okay, now inner child work. Oh, this feels really good. Okay, let me add in some herbal tea. Oh, this feels really good. I'm ready to dig deeper. All right, let me look for resources. Let me look for retreats that I can go on. Let me look for things like that. So yeah, so it's definitely a mindset shift, and in my opinion, enough is enough type of thing, or I want more type of thing. You know, yeah.
I'll be honest. When I paid for that first retreat, okay.
You talking about Christine's retreat?
Yeah, the Christine retreat, 2016.
Oh, damn.
Yo, putting that money down on that credit card hurt. Okay, it was the first. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I signed off student loans, right? I got a degree. That was fine. And I'm looking back like, no, it wasn't. But I did that, right? Because I couldn't see it. But when I like had to give that credit card number, that first, it was $1,500 for a weekend. Last minute, within 7 days. Last minute flight, West Coast. So I dropped some cash, and it was the first time that I spent that much money on my own personal development, right? And so that first couple of hundred, couple thou, it's gonna feel weird. And part of that has to do with, do I actually believe that I can change? Do I actually believe that in myself enough to know that once I do this thing, I will be different? Do I believe in myself? So it was a lot of lack of belief, a lack of faith, but it was enough faith for me to actually go through with it, right? So I think a lot of people have a lack of belief within themselves.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I feel like my belief at the time, because I went to the same retreat she did, but like 3 or 4 years earlier, mine was like, do I even deserve this? So I noticed myself asking other people almost for permission for me to go on this, including I had a gig that same weekend. I wanted to go on it. Either I do the gig or I go on this retreat. Right. And I really liked this gig I had. And I remember telling the producer of this, like, you know, I just want to go on this, like retreat thing. And she's like a really experienced coach. And, she's, I think this could be helpful for me. And he was like, typical guy who like has never gone to therapy. He's never dealt with his feelings. Right. I was asking the wrong person. He's like still on Facebook, probably like trolling people right now. And I remember him saying like, you don't need that stuff. That you just need to get over it, right? And at that time, I was getting over a really tough relationship. I had just gotten out of a divorce, and I was really trying to go in the right direction. He's like, "You don't need that, but whatever. You need to do what you're gonna do." And I remember feeling so much shame after telling him, Like I just exposed myself that I wanted to do this new thing, be vulnerable, put my credit card down. And he's like, he trashed it. But thank God there was still a little voice inside of me. There was still this little voice in me. It's like, just go. It's just 3-day weekend. And that weekend, and I know it sounds cheesy, it changed my life. It changed my perspective.
Yeah.
I remember coming away from that week and going, I know what love is. I know what love is. We're all one. I feel like we're one. And I did. I felt that way because I had got rid of so much repressed anger. I had space held for me. I had a really trusted clinician who was there, who had been working in this business for like 15 years, right? And I had no cell phone during that time, no connection to the outside world. We just did our work for 3 days straight, nonstop did our work. And so I would never came back later and said, how much was that? Like I couldn't even tell you right now how much that was. Couldn't even tell you because guess what? It was priceless, right? She could have charged 3 times more and I still would have been like, that's cool. You know, like
And that's
so
that's a mindset barrier, right? So once you break through that, it's almost like expansion. So once you just do a little tear,
Yeah.
you can see the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So $1,500 can go from $1,500 to $3,000 to $4,000 easy, because you see the return of investment within yourself, right? And sometimes it's not just money. Sometimes it's like time. Like I did a 10-day last minute meditation, silent meditation. I had to rearrange my whole world for that 10 days. So it could be time commitment. It could be emotional investment. So at some point you are investing in something, right, to make this change happen. And so the question is just like, what's the trade-off?
Mm-hmm.
What's the trade-off if I don't do this thing? If I don't invest in this thing, what's the trade-off? And that scared me more than the actual like change. Like, oh shoot, if I'm like this, you know, when I was losing the weight, it was a little shallow. I was like, I'm moving to DC, so you know what I'm saying, I gotta look cute, you know, all this stuff, right? You know, like, oh, there's a bunch of queer folks over there. Yeah. So that was my that was my motivation. But then the second thought was like, damn, what if 10 years from now I'm still like I'm still the same person? Like that was a bit more alarming for me in terms of like, you know, understanding the return of investment.
Yeah. Well, and that reminds me of like, we were going to ask, you know, everybody here is like, how did one step create return on investment for a longer period of time? And then when I think about that one step for that retreat, it just led me to more getting deeper with the work, which led me to like probably a coach, which then led me to better health decisions, better mental health decisions, stuff like that. Right. So if you look at like the return on investment of the initial thing, it's like, oh, no health problems, right? Lower anxiety, right? Deeper relationship with myself. I'm not blaming everybody for my problems anymore. I don't know. I think that's a pretty good ROI.
Yeah. For sure.
How is the idea of investing in yourself related to manifestation, creation, and abundance? Because I know that, you know, Tia, you have your own business.
Yep.
Lily, you do your own thing. We all do our own thing. How do those two things tie together?
Manifestation and investing in yourself.
Yeah, investing in yourself to be able to like manifest, create, and find abundance.
Yeah, when you invest in the right things, and this retreat, for example, was a beautiful and like no-brainer investment for me. First of all, mental health, you know, just the level of clarity you feel when you leave this retreat and onward, as long as you could keep up with the work, the self-work, and, you know, is priceless, honestly. Chakras all aligned, and what that meant for me was, and what that meant for me was, when your chakras are aligned, the money comes.
Look at that.
Because it's the sacral, solar. I think it's solar plexus.
Solar is here. Sacral is down.
Yeah,
down lower.
The sacral is all about the creativity.
Creation.
So that's unblocked. Ideas of unworthiness from the heart chakra. Okay, unblocked. I deserve this influx. I'm like all unblocked. So all unblocked. Once I left that retreat, y'all know I was stressed about like starting my website, and shout out to Samaya for getting me up and going with the website. Just like literally just abundance just like came in, and I realized because I realized I deserved it, number one, and my relationship with that chakra and my idea of money just was unblocked, you know. So lots of on that end, there was lots of abundance coming through, lots of ideas coming through, because my creativity, you know, was flowing in. And when you're in that high level vibration, literally everything that you manifest just literally comes. And like you said, we do it on a very magical island. I'm part of this retreat. I'm part of it, y'all.
So silly.
Tia's making herself a part of everything, so just join us now. Join us now, and Tia. Join us now, and Tia. Oh wait, okay, all right. I love it.
Y'all do it on a very magical island, and we all experience the power of literally what we wanted to release and what we were ready to step into happened during that retreat. And so the manifestation just literally came supernatural for us. I got home, vibrations so high, and just like stepped into my higher self, which is manifesting all goods, harming none, you know, all that cool stuff. So it was just beautiful time, and it's honestly, it still is. I'm still feeling the magic because I'm still, you know, meditating. I'm still working with the medicine. I'm going on this retreat again, so it's still, you know, it still feels amazing. No, thank God, no, you know, health issues, things like that.
Yeah, I think with Tia, you're also speaking to, you remind me of, is like, even after you leave this island, you're still connected to the plants, right? And if you keep your connection to spirit, however you do that, whether it's meditation, exercise, whatever it is that you do, you keep your connection to that spirit, you keep your connection to that abundance that you felt so deeply on the island. And that island, let me tell you, each of us have had an experience on that island. And I don't know what is it about. It's Dominican. I never thought I would go there. I never thought I'd do retreats there, but there's something so magical and powerful that happens, and I just can't deny that it does. And I even find myself similar to you. I just started writing stuff down that I really want to come to life, and literally it starts happening like the next day, and it's like, damn, this shit is amazing. And I started laughing when you said like, all these things were unblocked. I imagine like you going on Instagram and be able to unblock this chakra, unblock that chakra.
We friends again.
You're not blocked no more. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You're not blocked no more.
I mean, I love how you said about the unblock. I was actually talking to a coaching client today, and I was like, you have a lot of trapped energy, right? And I recommended the retreat to her. And that's what we're working in. We're working in trapped energy. And that's why we have all these hiccups, all these things that we just keep recycling. And so when I think about energy, and I'm co-creating with energy, money, currency, current, flow. So it's like, if you aren't investing in yourself and doing this exchange with the universe, the energy won't move. And
yeah,
you
what are
won't
you gonna do?
create.
Just sit on top of a mountain and wait for it to come? Like,
Right. So you have to dance and co-create with this energy in order to manifest the desires and things that you want. Yeah. And if you're unable to do the manifestation, then you need to go deeper to unblock so that you can start becoming the flow, right? And just flow with life. We're not flowing, so that's why a lot of people just feel so stuck. But if you think about investing, it's directly connected to manifestation and creation.
Yeah. And let me just say something. Y'all would never say this, but I'm gonna say it because it needs to be said. All these guys in Silicon Valley go and do Aya specifically. Yeah. Listen to this, y'all. Listen to this.
Elon Musk talked about he did psilocybin. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Say that again.
Elon Musk, psilocybin.
That's true. Yeah, he did psilocybin.
So all these people in Silicon Valley go and get their multi-million-dollar ideas doing ayahuasca. Why? Because it helps you tap into what state is it? Is it beta? It's a higher.
I mean, different
all,
levels of
all of
consciousness,
them.
different levels of
All of
yourself.
them.
Like,
It helps you tap into that, and they come back, and now we have Amazon. They come back, and now we have all these really cool companies because they got the idea, they got they tapped into that limitless potential, and they had their vibrations are higher, so the abundance is coming in. Y'all, they going down and do it. We deserve a piece of that too. I literally was like, all right, how am I making $1 million? And they told me. So listen,
Yeah, no, it's true. If you want to do, go down
I
a
did.
rabbit hole, you will find that a lot of entrepreneurs,
yeah,
executives, C-suite folks,
they experimented.
they go and they get these plants, and they do it sometimes regularly because it is part of the abundance manifestation creation. If you think on an average person, right? Like, okay, you've lived life, you had some traumatic experiences, you're barely touching the surface of your
Yep.
mental capacities, like barely. So these plants allow you to go through those depths and then be able to receive the skills, right? So that you can begin to manage the day to day. And so I don't know about you, but I've never said, damn, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I didn't like talk to that coach. I wish I didn't go on this retreat. I wish I didn't,
Never.
invest my time in this, I don't know, 2-hour recording on YouTube about learning about something. So I have never, ever, ever regretted an investment within myself.
For sure.
Well, and it reminded me earlier what you were saying about energy, like in motion. And I had this like visual of like, now I understand sometimes why people go to the plants when they've had enough, because guess what's going to happen no matter what? If you're taking Cambo, if you're taking psilocybin, if you're taking ayahuasca, no matter what, I promise you there will be change, right? Like
it's inevitable.
You won't be able to fight it.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes you can talk yourself through something, you can talk around something when you're in therapy, right? You can just keep talking around it for years and years and years without getting to the shit. And what I love about this plants, you're like, let's go. You asked for this, let's go, right? In a very like, kind of like what we call grandmother ayahuasca grandmothers, because she's tough, but you trust her.
Mm-hmm.
She's tough and soft at the same time. And I think that's the perfect mix that sometimes people need to change that energy to keep that in a different motion, right? And you talk about like maybe they have trauma, but on top of the trauma, then the processed foods, then staring at a computer all day, then walking around in like the matrix like a robot and having all these like responsibilities, then trying to like do the hustle life, right? No way you can tap into your highest potential in that form. And so the pattern interrupters that happen, through plant medicine, it's like, whoa, reset.
Well, here's the thing, like our culture is toxic, and our culture is creating all of these things. And if you live in this society, you have to find a way to combat some of the toxicities that are already implanted in the culture that isn't really going to change until you change, because now you're vibing off the frequency of this toxic culture. So what happens is like you tap into these plants and you invest in this process, your frequency changes, and literally it's almost like, you know what I mean? You're like all this toxicity coming your way, and you're just like fanning it off. Like your energy is just not attracting it anymore. And you do begin to start feeling better as a whole, right? And so I say this to say that we're not going to go unscathed because of the way the culture is built, unless we go off the grid and start really just growing our own food and all this other thing. So while you're here in this energy field, then do the things that you need to do to protect your own energy, your own essence. Do those things, and make that investment.
I think that's the absence of suffering. Like choosing to protect your peace, choosing to honor yourself, to heal your inner child is really ending the suffering.
Yeah, totally. Did you guys miss me?
Yep. all 15 of us. All.
Yeah, so I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
I had a question. Had you been to a retreat, just out of curiosity, before our retreat, or was this the first retreat you've ever been to?
I've done some things.
Wait, this is off the call?
Wait, is this a cult?
Siobhan? I'm
sorry, is it a cult?
Should we go like private real quick?
Yeah. Should we
Okay,
Should we be concerned?
a little backstory on that? You want to tell us a backstory?
right. I've done some things. Nothing like this. Nothing like this. I've definitely invested in myself many times, and that's why I emphasize, like, when you're investing in yourself, look at who runs it. Look at the integrity of the people. I've done some things that work. I've done some things that don't work. But obviously, I had to do some things to get to this point. I had to,
Yep.
for me to be open to do this. So I've never done anything plant medicine related as far as a retreat, but I've definitely gone on some retreats. Yeah.
What would you say now? I mean, now obviously you probably have a whole different perspective, I'm assuming, especially now that you work with Tahira and you went through that 7-day immersion, you've had some time to let it sink in.
Yeah.
What is it different about now having experienced on an emotional, spiritual, and physical level that you would tell someone maybe that you wouldn't be able to have that perspective now that you do? So when people are coming to you, they're interested in plant medicines, but they have all kinds of fears that come up, and they're not sure if they're ready.
Yeah.
What is it that you feel like you tell them now?
Literally everything changes. Literally, and thank goodness
I like that.
it does. What's the difference? Everything. Everything shifts. Some people, I've heard some
God, I
people,
love
yeah,
that.
I'm scared to do LSD because I heard people don't come back to it. I'm like, thank God I'm not back to what I was. Like,
The whole point.
okay, thank goodness. I don't want to be homegirl. I love her, but I don't want to be the same person that I was, So, I would say that fear is very common, and I was afraid going into it. I was not afraid of who was taking care of me and whose care I was under.
Right.
I was afraid of the unknown. Just like, okay, I don't know exactly what I'm getting myself into when I do this. I know I'm ready, but I'm still scared, and I did it afraid, and I'm so happy that I did. But everything shifts. Like, your mindset is different. How you handle relationships are different. You're more open to, like, all right, at the end of the day, I love this person. You know what I mean? It's just, and your relationship with yourself. Let me be more gentle on myself. So your whole interactions shift. Everything, literally everything shifts. And if you've ever done a retreat with ethical shamans and then you know exactly what I mean. Literally everything changes. Nothing is the same, and thank goodness that is not. You don't go back to that limited thinking. I got out of Aya saying I'm limitless. My mom said, how was it? I said, I'm limitless, Mom. She said, wow, what drugs did they give you? She said, what drugs did they give you? Guess what? Things have been reaching more, heights than I've ever experienced in my life, with my mental health, and with my business, with everything. Just my perspective. I literally said to somebody, because you guys know I ain't telling my followers, but I'm moving soon. I'm moving, y'all.
More to come later. Be right back.
You didn't hear that beep?
Right. Block that part out. So I was having a conversation with somebody saying, I'm moving soon. And, their fear kind of, trickled in. Well, why are you moving so far away? Isn't that different? And I said, I am psilocybin, Cambo, then took me to other realms. And you think I'm afraid to get on the Airbus and go a few hours away? Like, it's a bus in the air. So your perspective is just so different. It's like, I can do that. I can absolutely do that. Some people are afraid to move to a different city, and so I'm like, I've been to the ethers and beyond. Like, literally, I know I sound batshit crazy, y'all, but literally, I've been there. And for me to just get on the plane and go somewhere until it is not what I don't, if it's not what I want it to be, I can move somewhere else, So that's just a metaphor of the limitless mindset that you tap into when you get a chance to exchange, with this medicine.
I love that, because it's like, I was bending time and space. You think I'm afraid to get on a plane? You think I'm afraid of Delta Airlines?
Okay.
So like,
I was in the astral plane. Okay.
All right.
What?
And I love those statements because like Siobhan was in here earlier and Lavi and our whole fam is here. And you were saying like, I am limitless. And I do find that so true after these ceremonies. Like yesterday, Siobhan was like, I am beautiful. I love myself. I'm powerful beyond belief. And it's like, I believe her because she found that somewhere and it's exuding and it just keeps exuding. And I think to your
it's
point,
not just an affirmation, it's the truth.
It's the truth, right? It's the truth, a statement. That's the difference. It becomes the truth versus okay, here's my affirmation card for the day. What do I need to say? Okay, I am powerful. Okay, I am powerful. No, like we believe.
So ridiculous.
Know that. Mom, I'm limitless.
But here's the thing, like, okay, so I always tell my clients, you can't hold on and let go. You can't have a scarcity mindset about money and then want money. You just can't. You can't do both. So when you think about like going through this process, lean against your edge a little bit, whatever it is. It could be a $10 book. You know what I'm saying? Just begin the process. When you begin the movement, right? The momentum begins to build. And then you find yourself in a place that you never thought you'd be, but a place that you deserve to be. It's been there all along, you know?
Yeah, well, one thing I always tell Francis is that the similarities that I saw between what connected all of you who attended the retreat was commitment and courage. So you had the courage. It wasn't that you weren't afraid, it's that you had the courage to say yes anyway. And you were fully committed to no matter what. Like I think Siobhan was always saying, I'm doing this no matter what. You all
By
have
any means necessary.
Any means necessary. That's what it was. By any means necessary. Look at her. She's in the chat. You can't hold on and let go at the same time. Yes. And that was the difference between you and anybody else who wasn't ready to make that step. Again, it's not bad or good. It's just there was a similarity in it. It was like, oh, these people aren't playing around. And you see what happens in a ceremony when people aren't playing around. That shit goes deep. Right? So you guys all set the tone for the energy. You guys all set the tone for the state of consciousness that we're going to be in because you had the commitment and the courage to be there. And I was like, shit, I got to step it up. You know? So
a lot of that is trusting you all. And once we knew, you know, that we could trust you all, then it's like, okay, well, I have nothing to fear. Like I'm in good hands. So shit. The worst that could happen is my ego was going. And didn't I tell y'all I'm ready to let go of this ego? That was the first intention I set. And that was the first thing to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was the first thing to go. But yeah, I can't sing your praises enough. Once you just know that like, okay, I'm in good hands, then you're more inclined to just go all in.
Yep.
That's right. That's right.
100%.
100.
I feel like we need a podcast. We just need a podcast.
I told you to pitch it to the network.
I know.
No, it isn't.
Well, we hope you guys, you know, got some value out of this and feel a bit encouraged. You know, sometimes you do have to plan these things out, right? And sometimes there's no planning. When you're called and you just go and you answer the call. And so if, you know, you've been sort of on the fence, the time is now. The time is now. So don't delay. Don't delay. I don't know if anybody else.
And you know, Tia's gonna join us for a second round. I don't know why she's doing that.
She's wild.
She's
But we know we're doing back to back, so I don't know.
That's true. We're doing 2 retreats back to back. I don't know. I'm gonna be real quiet after this. I get real quiet. You know what happens to me?
Hey, man.
Yeah, you know what happens to me? I get the opposite of my personality. I literally get rebooted like a hard drive where I'm like, you know, like you're kind of in the middle of like looking out. Yeah, Francis goes like, hey, everybody, hey, you want to start a business? Hey, come over here. You want to have a party?
I got all these ideas.
Hey, you want to be up on my business?
We're talking about ayahuasca, by the way, guys.
Yeah, that's where, and I'm opposite. I like go, you know, because I'm resetting. But it's like a beautiful reset. It's just all happening internal. It's not, for once, it's not happening external.
Can I ask a question before we go to both of you?
Yeah. If anybody has any questions too, let us know.
Yeah, ask them.
Sure. I want to know, and I want you to share what your favorite thing about plant medicine is. One of your favorite things about plant medicine. Just like, well, all right, I'm watching this live. I'm in and out of watching it, and I'm not sure if I want to do it. Why do you keep going back? Like, what's the point? I thought I was healed. Like, why? One and done. What's that?
Yeah, for me, I feel like the journey of healing is going to continue and continue, right? Why would I be in this like human vessel if like the journey wasn't going to continue? So that's always going to continue. But I come from a background of therapist parents, right? So I grew up in this world of like mental health and like trying to seek to understand yourself. And I've tried so many different modalities. Plant medicine just put me in a different realm.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. And to speak to your limitlessness, right? When you say that, people don't understand that, or I'd say understand that, until you've had a ceremony where you experience the limitlessness feeling, right? There's not enough words in the English language that can even describe a plant medicine experience because it's so unique and individual to you, but at the same time, it's beyond time and space. So I feel like now I'm leading with spirit.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Whereas before with therapy and other modalities, I was leading with my mind. Can I figure this out? Can I figure this out? No, you can't. No, you can't. Sit down, do some psilocybin, right? So I feel like that's what it is. Yeah.
That's a good answer. I think for me, it's the love. It's the love and the peace. And I love how it takes me there each and every time because I feel that's what's missing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start seeing everybody as souls and spirits traveling together, trying to make this thing work, trying to figure life out, I have so much compassion and so much empathy. So each time I do these medicines, that's where it takes me. Empathy, compassion, and love, repeatedly, even for myself. And so if I'm exhibiting this for myself and I'm living in it, how do you think that's going to affect other people? One of the things in the Vipassana meditation, he says, may all beings be happy, but may all beings share in my merits. May all beings share in this frequency.
Yeah, I think that's so beautiful of you to say that because most people say, "Oh, this is a crazy thing. You're going to go crazy, and you're going to like never come back." People have all these different opinions on plant medicine, but the reality is, it brings compassion. The reality is, it brings unity. The reality is that it brings you to yourself. So it's such a beautiful thing for you to say that because I feel that way too. Like plant medicine really has brought me closer to myself than anything has ever done, including I'm not putting down anything or anyone, but this is just my personal journey, including therapy, including religion, including and even travel. Plant medicine has brought me closer to myself than anything, like literally ever. I know myself and I finally love myself. And like you were saying, that's something that you don't experience until you're in it, so there's some questions in there, so I think we can get to those.
Yeah, somebody said they were afraid about hallucinating. What's wrong with that?
I'm like,
depends on what we're seeing. It depends on what we're seeing. If I'm seeing trees and love, I'm like, hey. But if I'm here and we talk about bad trips so much, but like if I'm already in a negative field and energy, and I haven't prepped and I haven't done the pre-work, and I'm seeing, because it's just all the self, right? It's just you and you. So it's just your own personal reflection of what's in here. If I start seeing things that make me a bit uncomfortable, well, what is it trying to show me? Get curious. It's not, the bottom line is always fear, but like get curious about the things that are coming up for you. They're not meant to harm you. They're meant to sort of for you to get to the root of things so that you can live a more peaceful life.
Yeah. I have two things to say to this too, as far as the hallucinations, because I can understand that. Again, I think what really people are, and I said this last time, is that what they're really afraid of is that loss of control. And so then they say hallucination, I'm going to lose control, right? So speaking of like what Francis just said, that is exactly why we do the process we do in the retreat, so that we get people so grounded by the time they're there. The things that you're eating, the things that we're doing while we're there, that you feel grounded and safety in your body first, so that yes, when the hallucinations happen, or if they do, you see them through a different lens, right? That's what she's saying. You see them through a different lens. Not, oh no, it's like, huh, what's that? Right? And I think we get really caught up with this idea of like alternate reality, right? Just remember, like we used to call like alternative medicine, right, was the OG medicine, right? So OG medicine is like using plants and herbs to work, co-create and work with your body and your system. And we labeled that alternative, the other, but it was always the OG. Just like these plant medicines were always the indigenous practices. Our ancestors have been using these for years and years and years. I'm going off, y'all. This is why, because I just feel like just it's a mindset change. Is what we've been taught is that these are alternative, these are different worlds, these are whatever. No, they're not. We've been using them for thousands and thousands of years without modern medicine and bureaucrats telling us, well, it's okay to use them now. No, they've always been used. And the plant medicine will always give you what you need in that moment, especially with that trust and that surrender. Yeah. But think about it. We're just used to this version of reality, right? This version of the matrix, which is a really small view of the world. I'm used to getting up, doing this when I wake up, going to work, doing it this way, being on the computer. So I get that reality can seem so scary. But why not just see it as, oh, it's different. Yeah. It's just different. You know, like sometimes I say to myself, like, if I've ever been on shrooms and like I see like the mountains moving and like the trees moving, I say, how do I know they're not always doing that? How do I know that? How do I know? Yeah. Just because,
no, that's real. That's real. And what we see is different. I think about that too, because we don't see everything that's here.
Yeah, right? We don't have access to it. We don't have access to it.
We don't. Hummingbirds see things that we don't see. They see colors we don't see. They see. So just because we don't see it doesn't mean that's real.
Animals. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, remember being in this human vessel, there is also a limited experience to that, right? Which is why the plants go, oh, but you're limitless, but you're more, and you're like, okay. So I think about these terms that you bring up, like alternate reality and that type of thing, and like what is crazy? What does that mean to you? Yeah. What does dangerous mean to you? Like just start questioning that, and you'll get curious, and the curiosity brings you to a different, I feel like, state. So yeah.
Can I say something about that? Hallucinating. From in my perspective, when you are seeing things, it's because you're supposed to see it. I remember seeing something that was meant to frighten me, and that's because I was supposed to get over fear. So I don't feel fear. I don't feel fear, anymore. I don't feel general anxiety. I don't feel any of that, and it was brought to me so that I could overcome that. So it's kind of a sink or swim moment, like. You all help us get super ready for that. You're not giving us cheeseburgers before the retreats on purpose because that will alter our experience. I think it's important to talk about that before we go. When you watch documentaries of Campbell ayahuasca on YouTube, they go in Saturday night and Sunday morning they're doing, or Saturday night, the next day they're doing Aya, and that's not the most effective way to do it. And that could lead to different experiences, but you guys are keeping us for a week. You're locking us down with all of them in the food. You're doing really intentional things to get us ready and prepare for you're giving us medicine to prepare for the medicine. You know what I mean? And so there's a huge difference there too.
Yeah. It all matters. It all comes together. There's no like absence of a thing, right? So it's all cohesive.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. You made me think of a story and then I lost it because my cat is yelling at me right now and I just totally got off track. Did you hear him in the background? No. He's like, meow! I know you're on a live, but meow!
You kind of look like him real quick. Another question we have is plant medicine safe for expecting women?
You pregnant? Oh my gosh, Maya!
Congratulations!
We've gotten that actually a lot lately. That's interesting that you asked that. We've gotten that a lot lately.
Yeah, we don't recommend because your fetus is still growing, still developing. Obviously in other tribes, sometimes children as young as 3 or 4 are drinking the plants and using them, but that's also a different kind of environment as well. So we say the plants will always be here, and just take your time, no rush.
Yeah. Nature doesn't hurry. Oh, dang, we lost her. Man, Tia, let's tell her to
She'll
get
be
in for
back.
one little more. Real quick. Let's see. What happened to her?
There she is. Somebody
There
just
she is.
requested
Okay.
something.
Damn it. Hold on. We were on a roll there.
My bad, y'all. I was trying to scroll up and then it went away. Okay. I'm back.
She's like, I'm glad I'm the one that called alive.
Right? I'm like,
It worked out, huh?
Oh, I was gonna, so to speak to her as well, like, yeah, unless you're living in the jungle already, you know, kids, you know, being pregnant or having kids around that isn't necessarily something that we're used to, especially in this modern society. But we will be here. We will be here for it. But I wanted to say something about when you were talking about like the monsters. I remember somebody telling me, I think he did Bufo, and he saw some monsters in his experience or something else. And for weeks and weeks after his ceremony, he actually continued to see the monsters at night, in his room, in his nightmares, and whatever. And he finally one day was like, oh, I'm creating this. So he stood up to them and said, get out of my room, get out of my mind, get out of my life. I'm so done with you. Like, he stood up and he never saw them again. And I was like, oh, dang. Like, sometimes the medicines will do things like that to you so that you kind of stand up to the own monsters that you've created in your mind. And you end up realizing, oh, that was just my mind being able to create that. That's not real. It's not here or whatever. And so I remembered that story when you were talking about that. So, yeah.
It activates a lot of different things that are already in existence in our bodies. The things that you're looking for, it's there. It's just blocked. So, oh man, plant-based for life. How does it?
I can't wait to do it again. I can't
Plant-based
wait.
for life.
I can't wait to do it again. I cannot wait.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like
I
7
know.
days. Crazy.
That's I'm literally like obsessed with self-development, I guess. So maybe that's why.
I mean, girls go deep. Go deeper.
Well, we were just talking to our psilocybin grower today because I'm really trying to learn more about the different strands and stuff and about what we're going to use at this retreat. And then I just got so excited about it because he started talking about, you know, certain ceremonial psilocybins compared to the regular ones. And I was just like, oh, dang, we're really calling in the ancestors in this one. And I was like, woo, woo, you know, just,
Yeah, it's
I was
just
like, shit that spiritual people say, oh, wow, can't wait to call in the ancestors for this one. Aunt Margaret's gonna be in this room, you know, like.
the vibe is just getting deeper into like the vibe.
Yeah.
But like that's our lineage. So like why not? Like I'm
Yeah.
ready to clear up the shit that don't work and unblock the stuff that works, you know, tap into the stuff that works. So that's beautiful, y'all. I'm so excited. Like it just brings me so much joy to do this retreat because I just know that like I'm getting deeper into myself. I'm becoming a better person for myself, for my future children, for, you know, my partner, my family, like literally everyone. So it's
Lineage.
my lineage, exactly. Like, and you just fucking happy all day. Like you just happy. Like I'm literally like my friends be like, "What's wrong with you? Are you not from Philly?
What's wrong with
Are you
you?
not from Philly?
You're not from Philly." Somebody asked me my loss one time because I'm just so damn happy. Like literally, you're in a different vibe. That don't bother. Like it just don't bother. Like you know, you do have your stuff, and you just work through it differently. You know, you just like okay, you don't take that personal. This, you know, it's a beautiful feeling.
I feel like one day you're gonna be like the Oprah of retreats. You're like, you get a retreat, you get a retreat, you get a retreat. You know, like everybody instead of a car, they get a retreat because you're so happy about being happy and you're happy about everybody going to retreat. It's the best.
That'll be dope.
Yeah, so come to our retreat.
Yeah, we have actually less than a week left of our early bird pricing, just so you know.
Yeah.
Just so you know. And we keep the group small on purpose and intimate on purpose. It ends up being a very deep experience that way. And there's like a sister and a brotherhood that's built. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
We hope to
If
see you
you're
there.
interested, you book a soul session with these two ladies. I'm not part of the retreat, but I'm like, I put myself in it because I believe in it so much and I know how much of an impact it makes. And so these two are literally stuck with me. I promise they're not paying me or anything. Like, it's just that much of a transformation for me. somebody said, I need this kind of healing. Book your soul
Yeah.
session. Book your soul session.
Yeah, and it's just also to discover if it's right for you, right? If it's not now, then it could be later. And I think what it'll be beautiful about having you there, it actually is, it is very helpful in a sense because you're not, kind of like an OG now, right? Where you're just like, okay, I know how this goes down, and you're gonna have even a deeper experience, right? Like the plants never stop. So that'll be beautiful to see you kind of also ease some fears because how you came in last time is going to be different than how you come in this time. So
yes. And I got y'all up until the medicine hit.
Go ahead, go.
That's true.
No.
That's true. I got you all. That's really true.
Got you.
That's hilarious.
All right, I think we covered as much
we're
as we
good.
can. Yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta let my cat out.
I'm done for talking for the night, guys.
I can talk all day long, but I just gotta let my cat out,
Well, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions about the plants, health,
Reach out.
Reach out to any of us, and we'll do what we can. And
Yeah, no question is a weird question. We've heard all kinds of weird ass
we're
questions.
weird.
Yeah. So Tia's like, we're weird, guys.
And Fran is like.
Anyway, all right. Good night.
Yes, Philly is revolutionary to be into it.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Franny.
Bye.